So once again, as I've told people before, the reason why my Snapchat miles run up like, yeah, run up to heaven, is because of the fact being, like I say, I always have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff. Pretty much you can put all the stuff on a podcast, pretty much at how many topics I have to preach about. But yeah. Um, Quick thing to all my middle school siblings out there, as I call you. Also, I just call you all my younglings, but I just coined that middle school siblings term within the last couple, actually within this last year. God bless you all. I want you all to understand, and I'm pretty sure I put it in that song titled "Middle School," which is what I'm trying to express to all kids. I'm not saying that, particularly in that middle school age and high school, but definitely middle school, you're not gonna be the most mature. And I don't expect any of you to be, for the most part, the most mature unless you're like that 1%. I don't really expect all kids to be the most mature in middle school, let alone freshmen and sophomores in high school. But you have to understand, somewhere, somehow, you have to cut the crap, and you have to get down to the root, and to get down to the root so you can grow the fruit. And that's what this whole thing is when it comes to, you know God bless my little brother Tristan and my little sister Brittany. I just want to tell this quick story about them. As a fifth year senior, people don't know I don't think they know the blessings that being a fifth year senior got me now. Like I said, I got trashed, I got bashed by several people for going back to me as a fifth year senior, but they never got it, and they probably never will, because they don't live for things that I live for, which is always godly, bigger than myself. So with that being said, my little sister Brittany and my little brother Tristan. Now I can assure you. Now I might actually message this video to them, because why not? It's really a good story. I think so. Um, I want them both to understand. I don't care about race, as I've said countless times before. But in terms of the topic of race, those two in the dynamic that I want to say, created and set in their freshman year back in 2017-2018 school year, I want people to understand how beautiful that was. In terms of, I don't care about race, but both of them are very much, similar to my skin tone. I'm Black African American, two black parents, and so on and so on. But they both very much matched my skin tone. If not exactly, they matched it close enough, and so on. And I feel like when I reminisced on it a couple hours ago, I felt like God is so good, because, of course, I cherished and loved all those freshmen as my family, as my younglings, every last one of them. But particularly towards those two that I had a couple classes with, God is beyond good about how He put that level of trust, respect, and responsibility in me, let alone on me. Because if I ever were to have, dare I say, if I ever were to have a biological little sister or little sibling, or just a little sister, little sibling, little sister, little brother that were to look, close to me, those two are the perfect matches. I'm not even joking with that. And I'm so thankful that by God's grace, I'm saying in terms of skin tone, because other than that, I love them the same, Um, but especially, hearing Britney's history, I mean it when I say it. Like, I'm telling you, it could have been more fate, that I was there for her, you know. And I'm telling you, Tristan just fit that mold perfectly. If anybody's ever met him, if you were a part of the class of 2021, you definitely know who I'm talking about for the most part. He just fit that part. Tristan just fit that part. When you take a side by side comparison of me and him, he just fits that part of, he's absolutely, like, he either looks like me, and if not looks like me, he definitely looks like he could be related to me in some type of way, like possibly a cousin, I guess. And Brittany as well, she just fit that scheme of somebody who you totally could think of probably the same way, a cousin, if not directly a little sibling of mine. And I'm not joking when I say this. God is so good that, when I look back on it, that's like the 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 um the I want to say power triplets, but I don't know if that's the right term to use it. In terms of him blessing me, in terms of all the people that I interacted with that year, all the young kids I interacted with that year, those two, definitely in terms of skin tone here, they match up to me as absolutely, I can see them being related if they aren't already. And I want both of them to understand, I'm so sorry that after your freshman year, after I graduated, we have not seen each other verbally in person since then. Now, the excuse that I give people consistently enough is the fact that I've just been working on myself. But even I have to question that and ask, what have I been working on if I've been working on myself? What's improved in my life? Where I've been really working on myself versus I just been procrastinating all this time. So I give myself this. I didn't have my license when I graduated, so I'll give myself that. They don't live in Nocatee where I live, so I'll give myself that. You know, So in order for me to hang out with them, we would have had to, get our parents to drive us. So I give myself that much of thought and credit when it comes to excuses, if I were to even try to make them. Other than that, I got my license last summer, around this time in May. If not April, I think it was May. It was May. Yeah, it was May. And other than when it comes to that point of view, I got it in May of last year. And this entire year has gone by practically, and I can't name much of what I've done with my life in terms of, I think I just been running in a circle at 21 years old. In terms of, I love what I do, I believe in the passion, the purpose, and the cause, and I want to continue that. But when I look at so many kids from the class of 2020 and 2021, the last two classes that I went to school with, I couldn't be more halfway at times ashamed that, especially since I got my license, that I haven't hung out with them since their freshman year. And what even makes me feel even more ashamed of myself, even though I know for the most part I have no reason to feel ashamed, at least they would tell me I don't, is the fact being, you know how many kids from those two classes live in my community, live in Nocatee? So, forget the driving. I could have just biked to some of these people's houses, and I never did. Always using that excuse or that disguise of, oh, I'm just working on myself, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. The crappiest part about that excuse is some of these people live literally right down the street from me. And that's what I mean. I love myself, and I'm thankful to God that everybody who absolutely shows me all the love and the respect that they show me every time they see me and tell me it's all good. But I'm not lying when I tell you this. I feel ashamed at times that I have even tried to make these excuses, or not try to make these excuses, because when I make these excuses, I'm thinking to myself, how logical are these excuses? Because some of these people I'm talking about live literally right down the street from me. So what excuse did I truly have? And that's what you're going to hear in a lot of this future music of mine, NJ2TheCity music. You're going to hear a lot of me talking about how you lived right down the street and we still didn't hang out much. And I would love to, just, like a whatever you were to call the word, blame it on anybody but myself. But I know I have to blame it on myself because I've had all the time in the world for years and still never picked up the phone more often. And if we hung out, we hung out. If we didn't, we just talked on the phone for a few minutes and it was all good. But you get the point, that time, that investment. Now, a lot of kids, like I said, they already shower me with all this love and respect because I am, in their eyes, worthy of it. And I would say in God's eyes, worthy of it as well. I do work for it. I do go out there, like I said, I do support them. I do mentor. I do my job. I do all this real stuff. But I can't lie how much it annoys me that for some of these kids' lives, I have not been as vocal or involved as I want to be. And I just want definitely Tristan and Brittany to understand if I ever do message this video to them. A day or two ago, I thought to myself as I was thinking about Niece and the changes that have been made, that I am renewing my commitment to Niece. Now, I've always been Niece's ambassador. Everybody knows that, for the most part, of who went to school with me. And or who knows the name, NJ to the city. I've been Niece's ambassador for years. I've been consistently showing that support for years. But again, when I think about all the kids that live locally in my community and how often I don't hang out with them like I really, really want to and or really, really should, but then I complain about it and so on and so on, almost like NF with his stuff, and I love his stuff and so on and so on. This is how I relate to him a little bit. It's like, what excuses do I really have? You know? So like I said, I'm renewing my commitment to them. I'm renewing my commitment to Niece. That I'm not here to just, I've never been here to serve myself. You know, I'm here to serve the kids. I'm here to serve more children and their families, help better our communities through that. Being humble, helping people out, etc. I realized that, you know what, yeah, I'm renewing my commitment to Niece in this way of, I'm not here to just let Niece's freshmen, particularly over the next how many classes, think that Niece is just one negative free-for-all and they can do whatever they want and they're never going to get punished for doing wrong stuff. I might not be there during the day to lay the law down, but I promise you I'm going to do what I can to have an impact and influence and steal so many kids' lives who I know desperately need it through several vices of media, music, entertainment, face-to-face interaction whenever we come across, and etc. I'm not going to just let generations of kids keep on losing out on, you know, impact and influence, or my impact and influence, because I'm not there every day to, you know, to connect with them, and etc. And the same thing with, to an extent, Brittany and Tristan. I'm thankful that we've always had each other's numbers. I'm thankful that we've always had each other's social medias, but I'm really ashamed of myself to an extent that I don't text them every day. But then forget that I even told myself a year ago or 2 years ago, I didn't have to text them every day, just text them a few times a week, if not a few times a month. But I'm ashamed of myself. I don't even do that at times. Now, I love playing Xbox. I love doing everything else I do. But to be blunt honest with you, I'm still thinking to myself, there's more face-to-face human interaction that I need to do, I want to do. Why don't I do it? And at 22 years old, I'm cutting those excuses. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to sometimes need my detoxes, because we all need that, you know. So I told myself, you know, that part I can never apologize for. But then if I were to put that into a bigger spectrum, I've had years for detoxation. You know, how much more detox can you get? But in terms of detoxation of when it comes to this main job, of which, you know, with the mentoring and so on and so on, I'm gonna, at 22 years old, I'm definitely cutting the excuses and or cutting the cord or whatever I'm doing. Unless I generally have those excuses, and I mean like cutting the cord to those excuses, you know, unless I generally have a good excuse, and we're just gonna start hanging out more. I'm gonna start being more day in and day out, if not day in and day out, but you get the point. Like I say, a few weeks, a few months, whatever, you know, more hands-on involved, because I'm not here to just let the youth perish because they don't have any role models, mentors, big brothers to look up to. I've been marketing myself as that for like the longest time. A mentor, a big brother, a role model. And people already thank me for the work that I've done, but I know there's a lot more work to do, and I can do, and I will do, and I want to do. So the big point there, 22 years old, I'm renewing this commitment to everybody. Get better answer my DMs. Like, I still like 140 of them unanswered from months and a couple years back, really, on Snapchat, so forgive me for that. But renewing my social media commitments to answering more DMs, giving more shout outs, and just spending more face-to-face interaction with people whenever I'm around. You know, meeting more parents and more families, and just frolicking, because this is how I want to live my life. I got to live my life. At 22 years old, I got to make these changes for my life, because if I don't make these changes for my life, I have nobody but myself to blame. And then if I have nobody but myself to blame, I'm going to hate myself. And I don't want to hate myself. I love myself too much for that. So let me put this love into, you know, good use and good works. Let's glorify Christ's name. Once it's unashamed, God forgot of everything. God bless Tristan and Brittany. I will definitely message them this video most likely, because it's real, and I really want them to understand. This is me renewing my commitment to not just them, but tons of kids out there from tons of different classes. We're gonna take over this world together in Christ's name. I got your back. I'm your big brother, and let's run this thing. God bless.